Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to talk about our group's visual report of emergency response. First of all, I'd like to introduce our group. My name is Tong Deng, and my group members are Zian Wan and Zhipeng Xu. Before we start our report, we'd like to pay tribute to the Aboriginal peoples of northwestern Australia. We recognize their deep connection with the sky, land, and rivers of this country. We respect the culture and values of the Aboriginal people and thank them for continuously protecting this land. Their wisdom as well as experience expand and nourish our understanding of local ecosystem. Our presentation have divided into three parts. They are emergency situations and site analysis, resident analysis and emergency response, as well as the best case studies and conclusions. So let me start with the first part, emergency situations and site analysis. In January 24, 2024, a flood has hit Pilbara area in northwestern Australia. It caused by slow-moving tropical low and shutting down some important traffic lines, get some remote communities isolated. This is the background of our research. In fact, although we are in Sydney, we still suffer the inconvenience caused by heavy rain every day. We are aware of the impact of floods by extreme weather on Aboriginal Australians and choose to focus on the north area. This is the map of Pilbara and the general introduction of the area. The heavy rain in January caused floods along the coast and downstream of Fortescue, and the home of the Aboriginal was damaged. Our research focused on the two circle area, which are the residences of the injured. The overflow of Fortescue River caused the flood in these two areas. And then we can start our analysis. We will use the vulnerability analysis models to evaluate for flood analysis. First, we analyze the causes of the floods and their severity, and then we analyze the impact of the floods on residents and the region's response capabilities. A flood is any overflow water onto land that is normally dry, and we use the scenery to define the flood in our research. Disasters caused by excessive natural precipitation or untimely drainage lead to rising river water levels, and then the flood comes. The formation mechanism of floods should be discussed in combination with the climate, topography, and runoff factors. We can observe the large variations in precipitations and high summer temperatures in Pilbara, and the northwestern Australia is affected by the tropical cyclones, subtropical high, and the northwestern monsoon, which generally peak the thunderstorms and precipitations in the southern summer, and the Pilbara is impacted by those factors. When we observe the history of the area, we found that the Pilbara has been affected by both drought and flooding, but in recent years the frequency of flooding becomes higher and higher, and this result leads to further research of the Western Australia rainfall trend. In the recent decade, the rainfall in the northwestern region of Australia has shown a clear upward trend. Especially the summer rainfall in recent years is highly above the historical average, and this is a new variable about the climate studies. And then we turn to the analysis of the run of the Fortescue River. It is a river starts at an elevation of the 602 meters and has a height difference of 592 meters. As we mentioned above, the river's overflow caused most of the area flood, and the floods occur mainly along and downstream of the Fortescue River. We can also observe the flood history of the area, and it is similar that in recent years the frequency is higher and higher. The monthly base flow in the Fortescue River is highly variable, with the largest flow occurring in summer. The average base flow volumes in the wettest months are very large relative to the structure of the estuary. The upstream of the river is the Fortescue Marsh, which is the drainage place of the river. However, many temporary streams flow directly into the marsh as variable, summer, and extremely intermittent. which means the river is hard to suffer the extra heavy rains. So we can see the unpredictability of the flooding. In fact, due to the global warming and climate change, the flood will become more and more unpredictable, and this will be a big problem. From the topographic map of the region, it can be seen that the river flows through the high area, but residents live in low area. The high difference made the residential areas in an unfavorable position, and it prone to flood flow. And when precipitation comes, the residential areas will be affected by floods. We extracted the topography of the northern research area. Sparse vegetation cover, continuous erosion and weathering of the area have accelerated the runoff rate, and there are still associated disasters such as the mudslides. Semi-arid climate, deposition, erosion, and weathering made the plants full of ups and downs, which is not conducive to drainage. The gravel is unstable and the frequent flood make it really hard to build a large scale of the traffic line, such as the railway. In addition to Fortescue Marsh, the Pilbara area has a biodiversity regions. There are several endangered animals and plants here. The flood will directly destroy their growing environment and also ruin the freshwater resources here. At the same time, they suffer the problem of introduced animals. Livestock farming and blood mining lead to the destruction of vegetation and river banks, weakening the ability to resist floods. The weeds are the threat to the vegetation growth and can cause the original flora to degrade. A significant effect of the flooding is that it will cause the traffic line blockade, puts pressure on the floodways and reduces the post-disaster resilience, cause isolation from the outside world. About the design thinkings, we can redesign the houses and increase the connection between residential areas to mitigate the impacts of the climate change. We can build a job structure, transform the drainage channel to mitigate the impact of the geographical factors. And then we can plant a restorative vegetation and develop a protective economy to solve the local ecological problems and potential mudslide hazards. Here are some design precedents, and picture 1 is about the Rennerman Mekong Delta's method of defending the flood, and this is a simple, low-case and wise method. Picture 2 is the job structure design of Taipei, and it will slow down the impact of mudslides and water flows. Picture 3 is about a green Garatiba plant strategies. It is a good reference for incorporating biodiversity into regional water management planning. It is especially for the protection of the green plants. The Pilbara region is one of the key areas affected by floods in northwestern Australia. In addition to the influence of the geographical environment, the gradually extreme weather in recent years has also increased the hidden danger and potential danger of the summer floods. At the same time, the resilience of the social and natural environment and the ability of the flood defense are also challenged.
My name is Zhipeng, and I will be talking about the ecosystems and conservation efforts in the Pilbara region, a high-value ecological reserve rich in biodiversity. The area has been tended by traditional caretakers for thousands of years. The indigenous people have strong links with the local government to protect the Pilbara's cultural and natural heritage. The region's dry climate, rivers, and wetlands are valuable natural resources. In terms of protecting the Pilbara wetlands, there is a Fortescue Marsh management strategy, which are documents designed to protect the wetland environment. Existing local conservation measures are essential for biodiversity conservation. A variety of conservation strategies have been implemented to protect the region's biodiversity, including the Biodiversity Treaty Management Program in partnership with CSIRO and the Pilbara Corridor Project, which is designed to address ecological threats in the region. The Ngibandi people's homeland was devastated when heavy rains in January 2024 caused flooding along the coast and in the lower Fortescue. The Ngibandi people are Aboriginal Australian people of the Pilbara region of Western Australia. They form most of the Aboriginal people around Roebourne. Their traditional lands are located around the Fortescue River. The Ngibandi's connection to this land dates back 50,000 years, and they have been fighting for their land, culture, and rights since first contact with colonizers in the early 1960s. The Ngibandi people's main belief is in ancestor worship, which is deeply rooted in their culture. The Ngibandi have their own language, which surveys show is now spoken by about 1,000 people. The Ngibandi Nation's mission is to help our people prosper in the future by strategically working together in three focus areas: community, culture, and business, through two companies, the YCCL Trust and Ngibandi Capital, which were established in 2013 with the aim of delivering lasting solutions to the challenges facing our community. In 2017, the Federal Court of Australia recognized Ngibandi's exclusive native title to approximately 27,000 square kilometers of land. Culturally, the Ngibandi are committed to bring their culture to life in unique forms. 2019's major puppet theatre production, Nura Nujungamu, When the World Was Solved, tells the story of the Ngibandi people, with Nujungamu headlining the Red Earth Arts Festival in 2023 and is on track to be taken around Australia. In addition to this, Nada Media, established in 2004, is an independent community radio and media training center that documents and disseminates Ngibandi culture and stories to share with the world. Residents with special needs and their care methods. The survey found that there are elderly, disabled, and children in the community. They need bed-free facilities, disabled toilets, and special medical and psychological support services. Potential danger. As a result of the investigation, it was found that the spread of the disease during the flood and the inadequacy of community medical conditions. Continuity problem. As a result of the investigation, it was found that 1. Having unrestricted opportunities to take care of, connect, and manage our homeland is essential for the well-being of our people. 2. Ngibandi people have been living in poor conditions for a long time. 3. Formulate a clear and cohesive collective agenda. Emergency response analysis. The Western Australian government and the local community organizations stockpile food and supplies in advance of the flood season. This ensures that people are protected during the flood. During the flood, the Western Australian government airdropped supplies to the Pilbara region using Australian Defence Force military transport aircraft. Local community centers are open all day during floods to provide shelter and basic services to local people affected by the flood. Build safe zones on higher ground to store food and medicine and other emergency supplies. Safe zones ensure the safety and livelihood of residents during floods. Some existing emergency response frameworks: National Disaster Risk Reduction Framework, National Flood Mitigation Infrastructure Program, 2021-2022 Program Guidelines, Australian Disaster Recovery Framework. Potentially dangerous coping strategies under the existing emergency response framework. Measures are 1. Improve community, 2. Improve infrastructure, 3. Strengthen public emergency response health education capabilities, 4. Provide psychological support. Design thinkings. How does design reflect values? Integrate local culture, respect the natural scenery of this land, and maintain ecological diversity. For example, establish a public cultural exchange center to display local history and art, When designing, consider the use of sustainable materials in this area first. How diverse population affects design. Respect the local language, use it reasonably and integrate it into the design. For example, multilingual road designs, introduction of scenic spots, language and characters are integrated into the creation in the forms of symbols. How to design to promote the political environment. 1. The design shows national pride. Praise the Injibandi people for obtaining the recognition of exclusive ownership of their land. For example, print land flags and cultural shirts with the names of Injibandi people and the Injibandi community as well as the Injibandi area. 2. Care for special residents. Ensure the establishment of barrier-free access, barrier-free toilets and elevators when designing the regional space. Help the region optimize medical conditions.
Today, I want to introduce a meaningful graphic design project called Dam Safety with Battery, created by FEMA. This campaign raises awareness about dam safety among children and young students. Teaching them how to stay safe around dams is not just an advertisement, but an educational tool to help kids understand environmental and safety issues from a young age. In conclusion, good design needs creativity, aesthetics, and social responsibility. As a designer, we should create beautiful works that convey meaningful message and positively impact people's lives. And this design is an architectural project that features a green roof, valance, and a detention lawn. This park can hold up to 1 million gallons of water, effectively managing excess rainwater and preventing floods. Additionally, it offers recreational space and promotes biodiversity, enhancing the city's resilience against flooding. The WAIT SOS Mode project provides real-time updates and resources during natural disaster, helping users find safe routes and access shelters and medical facilities. By leveraging community input and live data, WAIT enhances disaster response by offering up-to-date information to navigate safely during emergencies. The urban design project in the Netherlands enhances flood protection by creating more space for river through measures like deepening riverbeds, relocating dikes, and building flood channels. This approach reduces flood risks and revitalizes the landscape, promoting sustainable and innovative water management in harmony with nature. Aero is an inflatable rescue tunnel designed for deployment during flood situations. It provides a safer alternative to the rope pulley system and is easier to use. Instead of crossing the river to set up a pulley, the inflatable air walker is used. Air is pumped into a gel-shaped fabric tube, which then extends into a round tunnel, allowing people to cross safely. Every coin has two sides. So, for example, dam safety with barrier uses engaging educational resources to teach children about disaster risks and safety, but may face challenges in reaching all high-risk communities and no-English speakers. The Centenary Park integrates flood protection, recreation, and biodiversity through environmentally friendly design, enhancing urban resilience but faces challenges with higher construction costs, complexity, and space requirements. WAIT SOS Mode provides real-time disaster updates, leverage community input, and is user-friendly, but it depends on technology, may face data accuracy issues, and has potential coverage limitation in remote or poorly serviced areas. The Room for the River project effectively reduces flood risks, promotes river ecosystem restoration, and enhances public spaces but requires significant land, high costs, and may temporarily impact local residents. Aerope offers an innovative urban transportation solution that reduces traffic congestion and is environmentally friendly, but it faces challenges with high construction costs, potential impacts on city aesthetics, and safety concerns for elevated walkways. So you can say all of these projects collectively enhance safety, education, flood control, emergency communication, and ecological restoration. So you can say this is my conclusion. So designer can mitigate flood risks by creating flexible infrastructure, resilient products, effective communication tools, and educational outreach, enhancing communities' preparation and sustainable development. So in the Pilbara region, design solutions can address environmental degradation, inadequate infrastructure, and cultural threats through flexible urban design, resilient industrial products, effective interaction tools, and educational graphic design. So this is the potential issue. So we can see the environmental degradation. Natural environments are under pressure due to the industrial activity and climate change, leading to habitat destruction and loss of biodiversity. Then the inadequate infrastructure is also something we should consider. The lack of robust infrastructure to effectively manage natural disasters, especially floods, can lead to major disruption. And then we can see the threats to the Aboriginal culture. The cultural rights and land rights of Aboriginal communities are at risk due to economic activities such as mining. The last one is the water security. The region faces challenges in maintaining a reliable and clean water supply during drought conditions. In conclusion, we plan to design an app to address flood-related issues by providing real-time freshwater filtration guidance, monitoring disease outbreak, offering evacuation and emergency treatment information, enabling land communication, facilitating distress signals, and promoting material sharing through AI technologies. All of this can help the local people